Hello and welcome to the Confusion Wrestling Podcast, the last bastion of independent wrestling. Dude, 2 weeks in a row. This time I got totally ghosted. Gentleman who will be nameless, but he knows who he is if he's listening to this. We set up a time. He allegedly forgot after I sent him a message. We set up another time. Nothing. And this is crazy because at least the week before, the person, which was a totally different person, at least sent me a message afterwards of like, oh no, I am so sorry. And so we're rescheduled. We'll see what happens then. But I don't know, man. 2 weeks in a row. Am I really that unpleasant that people have to turn on me? Am I Cody Rhodes? Am I that oblivious? Or am I Sting? Am I that naive? No, it's the children that are wrong. Anyway, as I said last week, we're just going to play the hits over and over again. Going to check out a whole realm of professional wrestling. This week we're checking out a social experiment wrestling. Social X is hanging out in the Iowan tundra, doing some work out that way, mostly in the northern regions of said Iowa, expanding up into southern Minnesota while they're at it. They've just released their first batch, or at least first episode of their new YouTube show called X Tapes, giving us all the action from the vault of Social X Wrestling. So I figured, why not? Let's give it a try. Let's give it a shot. I like to give shout outs to I guess we'll call it relatively local companies in the area. So why not? Let's check out Social X. Let's check out episode 1 of X Tapes. That is on YouTube for anybody playing at home. Just type in Social Experiment Wrestling, bam, you'll get all the content on your phone, computer, etc., etc., etc. So we are just going to start off hot. We are going to start off with the action, trios action, so we're told by one Kyle Fields. He is going to be our commentator this evening. Nick Stevens, Nick Nolan, and AMB. First time I'm seeing him work as a heel, FYI, are taking on the team of Q&A, which is the Revolution, Quest Parker, and Anthony Lopes, and this gentleman named Noah, who I've never seen before. Anyway, this one, we are going to Memphis for this one, baby, because it looks like Nolan and Parker are going to start. Nolan specifically wants Parker to start, and just bails outside the ring. Just taking a sweet, sweet time. Several trips outside, matter of fact. Nolan then tags in AMB. We feign a lockup, tag out to Stevens. Stevens circles around, tags A&B back in, and the crowd is chanting unsavory things at our Rutho tandem for this besmirchment of the sport of professional wrestling. Anyway, we finally get some contact with the second round of A&B tags in. So AMB and Quest Parker, the guys in the ring, actually doing some stuff. We're going outside the ring pretty quick, though, once the action finally starts to pick up, as a PK kick followed by a tope suicida by Parker. Drop kick and a standing moonsault, only gets 2 by AMB. Now the heels are fully getting into control. Some underhanded tactics, if you will, stomping a mud hole in Parker. Nolan is grinding away before tagging Stevens in. At some point during this entire process, we lose crowd audio, and commentary is still going on there, which is great, because otherwise it would just be dead silent. But it's kind of funny because commentary is like, listen to the crowd. The crowd is chanting, and nothing. I can't hear them. Maybe it's me, but I think it's weird that I can't hear the crowd, but I can hear the commentary. I don't know, maybe the brain damage is setting in on that one, but I just thought that was really funny. That is listen to that crowd, and it's technically crickets, not because the crowd is silent, because you can see them doing stuff, just the sound went out on that. However, as I'm complaining about the audio, Parker manages to take out a chunk of the Rudo section before crashing face first into AMB. We got to double down off that one. But before any tags can be made, Stevens and Nolan take out the remaining Q&A partners, preventing a tag. But it doesn't matter. Things are breaking down at this point anyway. It looks like they're going for that 6-person suplex. But the timing is off or something like. So we get one suplex and then a tandem suplex with the other two gentlemen. Parker and AMB are trading strikes. A code red by Parker only gets 2. Stevens is in, hits a DDT, and everyone's just getting their stuff in at this point. Before Noah just comes in out of nowhere with a single leg drop kick, a claymore kick, however you want to phrase it. Anyway, the important thing is though he takes out AMB with the said kick to get the flash pin. So your winners, technical errors on all ends, so not just on the on that show, but on this show too, mostly because I am illiterate, can't read my own notes. Anyway, your winners, Quest Parker, Anthony Lopes, and Noah Q&A. This trios match was fun overall. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think it was a great way to kind of introduce some of the players from Social X Wrestling, and if nothing else, kind of give you a set idea of how some of the pacing is going to go. Even though the match itself showcased a variety of different styles, though I would argue that 5/6 of the competitors in this match worked a faster pace, but we also got to see some kind of old school heel action as well. I referenced Memphis at the start of this here party, with how they stalled to start things off too, to show reluctance to actually get involved, get the baby faces hyped up, and really also get the crowd working against the heels as well. So I was a fan of this match. I thought it turned out well, and yeah, I think it's a good way to kind of showcase some of the action that we are going to be expecting in future episodes as well. From here, we go into the studio where Kyle Fields is rocking the socials, letting us know where we can find Social X online, and puts over that our next contest is going to be a triple threat match, or as he calls it, a 3-way, noting that Teenage Fields would be disappointed that, well, Adult Fields is going to get to call a 3-way, and it's just a triple threat match, man. I feel that way too hard as little nerd Rob goes into things. But before we go into that contest, let's take a break, brief pause for the cause, if you will. It's going to be a short little doodad over here. Let's get yourself a coffee, an energy drink, maybe even a coffee maker, and we'll be back. Un momento. Hey, folks. The Confusion Wrestling Podcast has become a veritable hub of shopping and treats and all that sort of good stuff. Whether you need a sugar-free alternative to energy drinks in the form of Raise Energy, or maybe even, top-of-the-line ice makers, coffee machines, and other household appliances, all through my links section. All you got to do is wander down to the descriptor of this week's episode, check out the various links, click on them, and go shopping like you normally would. Heck, it's no difference. You just came in and just said Rob sent you. And that way, you can get the things you need, maybe even at a discount, and the podcast gets a kickback as well. So be sure to check out those links. Thank you very much for listening. Back to the show. And we are back, our main event of the evening for the debut episode of the X Tapes. It is a triple threat match with Eori St. Clair, the Rockstar Rhapsody. He is with JP Grizzly, taking on friend of the show, Maurice, and they are collectively taking on Vel Mystico. And so in the ring, once we get everyone to the ring, Maurice is accusing the Iowans of idiocy. I can't blame the guy for that. Unfortunately, though, he gets chopped for it, or at least unfortunately for him anyway, he gets chopped for it. We were getting chops from St. Clair and Mystico on Maurice. They have collectively decided to take up the flag of Iowa and dole out some punishment, which, why would you want to do that? I don't know. There are worse states than Iowa, but let's face it, it's Iowa. Anyway, once Maurice is out of the picture for a wee bit, we get some lucha-inspired offense inside the ring. However, a spinning neckbreaker briefly stuns St. Clair. St. Clair is quick to come back, though, with a big arm drag, but Maurice finally comes back and pushes St. Clair off the top rope. Snap suplex by Maurice is broken up by St. Clair, but St. Clair is getting taken out to side slammer Maurice for 2, only is just broken up by Vel Mystico. Mystico gets a back suplex for his efforts. Finally, St. Clair's allowed to pick up the place and work over Maurice. We're going outside the ring, and Vel Mystico unleashes a tope suicida. Ripcord knee is successful against Maurice. However, The 3 count is interrupted by Grizzly outside the ring. St. Clair is not happy by this interference by his manager, and because of it, it allows Maurice to hit a big proto bomb. Only a 2 count off that one. Maurice ducks stereo ripcords knees, and so our two Technicos bang knees, which had to hurt. I mean, that's bone on bone, baby. Or like, it's not really bone; it's cartilage on cartilage. If my anatomy is correct, yeah, don't tell the nurse folks that I'm buggering that one up. Anyway. Yeah, so we got a double knee knocker on that one. Double clothesline from Maurice takes both of our Technicos out. However, St. Clair hits a big step up Insiguri into the corner, followed up by a rolling facebuster to pick up the victory. But this is not all, folks. We are not done yet. So St. Clair is celebrating his victory with Grizzly, and Grizzly just is like, you chastised me earlier, man. Low blow to St. Clair. St. Clair didn't see it coming. Both Grizzly and Maurice are taking shots at the downed St. Clair. Maurice hits a power slam and counts his own 3 count, declaring himself the winner. Maurice is not done yet, though. He goes outside, grabs a chair, but before he can do any more damage, he is disarmed by Vel Mystico. Mystico runs off Maurice, and Grizzly helps St. Clair up, and some dude in a red raincoat comes in and attacks Vel Mystico. He gets on the mic, introduces himself as AJ O'Callahan, the Flatliner. So he's so self-proclaimed. We'll see how much flatlining that goes later on, especially next week when he challenges Vel Mystico to a one-on-one match. At this point, though, Eori St. Clair is awake to run off O'Callahan, and the baby faces, the Technicos, hug to end the show. Yeah, so that is how we are ending episode number 1 of the X tapes. Interesting little pilot we got going there. I'm hoping we're fix up the technical issues, but let's be realistic here on it. We all have our bloopers, and you can't always fault them, especially when it's early on. So it's better to get some of these mistakes out of the way before it's better to make these mistakes now, get them fixed before we're doing this in episode 10, episode 20. But I was very impressed with the action overall. The roster is a bunch of what we've seen in the X tapes anyway, is young and hungry for the most part. There are some veterans in there like Nick Nolan and Nick Stevens in there who are kind of bolstering things. And it's always cool to see friend of the show, Maurice, in action as well. So I'm very curious to see where we're going to go with the X tapes and see how it's going to be serialized, whether it's going to be a best of or it's going to kind of be harken back to kind of the studio shows of the 1980s, which, let's be realistic about it, like we're not getting enough of in our professional wrestling nowadays. So yeah, it was a quick watch too. This episode clocked in somewhere around 40 to 45 minutes or so, and most of the very much, like almost all of it, is in-ring action. So that was very great to see too, because even like the Kyle Field segment was very quick, probably sub 2 minutes. The introduction to the episode, intro sequence was very quick as well. So they are becoming, I will say, like with production, even with like the error that I complained about, like just the with the production that they've shown so far, they're looking to be a company to watch in northern Iowa, in the Midwest region completely. There we go. Like I'll just broaden those horizons. A hidden gem of the Midwest. I'm excited to see where they're going. So yeah. Quick episode today, I guess, technically speaking, because we're just watching wrestling programs on the YouTubes. Hopefully I'm not continuously turned against a la Sting or Cody Rhodes, or I don't know, maybe my attitude gets adjusted and everyone will love me once again, if anyone actually loved me before. But never mind that. The important thing is there's a world of professional wrestling to be had in the meanwhile, so I am a happy camper being allowed to partake in mass quantities of professional wrestling consumption. So I better go get to that, because there's a whole world more to go check out. So I'm going to go do that. Thank you guys for giving this a listen. Stay tuned for the plugs and the best ways to support here this tiny little podcast. Be my friend, and I'll see you all next week. The Confusion Wrestling Podcast is a weekly podcast that is written and performed by Rob Kammer and hosted by Spotify for podcasters. The background music for this section is Ruined by Day, performed by Alan Schroeder. If you enjoyed this podcast and would like to help support, please like, subscribe, and tell your friends, family, and enemies. Leaving a review is helpful as well, because word-of-mouth advertisement is very important for us small podcasts. My social media links can be found in the description, but Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky are at The Nova of Cass. That's TheNovaOfCass, and Facebook is MLW Confusion, all one word. If you'd like to support monetarily and help upgrade my equipment, please check out my virtual tip jar at ko-fi.com/Casanova, or if you prefer more bang for your buck, go to patreon.com/Casanova, that's CASSONOVA, where for as little as $2, backers get access to the podcast early and without those pesky ads, plus other exclusive content. So join the crew that is headed up by Keith Wynn, Alan Schroeder, Chris Zach, and Elenia, and check it out. You can also find t-shirts, coffee mugs, and other merch at the Confusion Podcast store on Teespring. Also, be sure to check out the affiliate links in the description below. For business inquiries such as ads, sponsorships, and etc., please email rzkamer, Kamer, at comcast.net. Thank you all for listening.